This is the Reality's Temple on Earth Internet Ministry, of course. And just being casual, I just want to present something to us. Things that make you go, I mentioned in an earlier video, I was talking to a Caucasian man. Well, actually, I was listening to this Caucasian man, and I guess he wanted to get something off his chest, and he started talking about Donald Trump. And the only thing that he could see that would be coming from this new administration, the president-elect, the only thing he could see is doom. The only thing he could see is another major war, perhaps starvation coming to this country, all types of doom to this nation, of which in reality it deserves and really is long overdue. This nation deserves great punishment for the evils it has done for the last at least 300 some years. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you wish punishment to the other evildoers. You wish punishment on Hitler and Saddam Hussein and Colonel Gaddafi. You can put all these people together and they have done nothing as worse as this nation called the United States of America. You can put all of them together. This nation is so wicked and so arrogant. For some reason you believe that you're the holy and the righteous and so goody too. When did that happen? I don't see it in the history that you write yourself. And certainly, since I've been a citizen of this nation, I have not seen this holy, righteous, goody two-shoe type, this loving of everybody's. I don't understand. Y'all live in La La Land. Truly. I wanted to make this video speaking to, of course, the descendants of slaves born in America, having dark skin, who used to call themselves the people of soul. But really, this is a message that needs to be heard by all human beings, all people. The white man is not a human being. Well, okay. But he needs to listen. Whatever he is, he needs to listen. And we have adopted the same mentality and attitude of those who victimize people. The same thing. All white people is devils and they ain't human beings. The same kind of stuff that they say about black folks. And you flip the script and turn it on them. But remember, they are evil and racist. If you are opposite or if you are not like them, why are you using the same type? Why are you behaving in the same manner that they do? That's my question. That's what, that was, yeah. But what do you expect from people who have been hurt and abused? They need a way to vent frustration and their anger from being hurt. So this is understandable. Now, going back to this gentleman and his being upset about the Trump administration. And when I thought about this, and I think about this a little bit, and I'm not only thinking about what the Trump administration might do and what it might not do, but you look at the world in general for the last few thousand years. First of all, who has been in charge? The white man. Well, that's true. But wherever you go on the earth, yes, the white man, so-called white, the Caucasian pink man, he's the one that dominates the world and whatever, but he can't be everywhere. But who controls the world? Who really is the dominant force in the world? It is men. So if the world is messed up, it is because of the male gender. Like, you got some women who are leaders. You have some women who are leaders who are controlled by the dominant gender, which is male. Just like President Obama does the will of Caucasian people. Because if he did the will of so-called black people, you would be out of Iraq. You would not be messing with Iran or Korea or nobody, because the black people here, he's supposed to be the first black president. The black people here, we are not warmongers. One of our greatest leaders, Dr. King, spoke against the Vietnam War and all these unjust wars. We are not warmongers. We're not into that. But we follow our leaders. Why do we follow these leaders? I don't care what Donald Trump, I don't care if Donald Trump is president. I don't care about the Congress. I don't care about the House of Representatives. Why do you allow, not only in modern times, but thousands of years ago, here's a handful of suckers, a handful of idiots calling themselves kings and queens and rulers. Why do the people allow themselves to be manipulated and follow the orders of fools, and you end up in all these endless wars and destruction and murder and all this? Because we have a herd animal mentality. Have you ever watched the wildebeest? The wildebeest is a herd animal. And I was watching an episode on a nature program, and the herd follows the leaders. I don't know whether the leaders are male or female, but whatever the leaders did, I saw an episode where the water was too high, but the idiot leadership, they decided, I'm going to cross this river anyway. So they began to cross the river, and the others, I mean, don't you have a brain of your own? Can't you see that this water is moving too fast and it's too high? But because the leadership said, I think we can do it, I'm going to go ahead and do it, they jump off into the water, and the wildebeest began to drown. The stupid leaders too. Now, unlike the American leadership, and if America start getting bombed, your leadership gonna run under the ground. At least in the past, the kings and the queens, well, the kings actually, they would put on their fighting gear and lead the charge. Now, these wildebeests are trying to cross this river. The water is too high. It's moving too fast. Leadership drowned. A lot of other wildebeests in front of them drowned, and they steady going. They steady moving. Ain't that's the most dumbest thing? Can't you? The herd animal mentality. Here you are. You are afraid of what Donald Trump might do. Why are you going to, if the man is doing something stupid, why are you going to follow his lead? Why are you going to follow those orders? Because you have a herd animal mentality and you think that you're being loyal to your country. But if the leaders of your country are fools, they are idiots, Why would you follow that lead? Why would you allow these idiots to use your body to do something stupid? Herd animal mentality. Well, I don't want to go to jail, so I'm gonna join the draft. I know the war is wrong, but they put me in prison. Okay, which is worse? I mean, think about it. Which is worse? First of all, you don't have to go to prison. You can grab you some sandwiches and a backpack and take off. You don't have to go to no prison. And a lot of Caucasian young men did exactly that. Ask Bill Clinton. Ask Bill Clinton what he did. You know, he didn't go fight in Vietnam. And a whole lot of them didn't fight in Vietnam. But you mean to tell me that you think prison is worse than going to a war zone and people are dropping bombs on you and shooting at you? That's more safe. I would choose prison myself. And eventually the war will be over. They let you out and you can go on about your business. See, a herd animal mentality. For thousands of years, I don't know why people are like this, but they have a herd animal mentality. Whatever the pastor say, the congregation would do. Now, there are many people who will make fun of and say that Jim Jones, remember Jim Jones? And Jim Jones gave the order to drink this poison. And all his followers began to drink the poison. That was so stupid. Well, if that's stupid, then explain to me all these wars. You send your daughters and your sons, and you know these wars are unjust. What makes you better than the people? They killed themselves. Here you are, you will fight knowing you are in an unjust war, doing something evil and wicked, but the leadership said this is what we must do, and you'll do it. What make you think that you better than the people who was following Jim Jones? You do the same thing, except now, but you are a murderer. You will go out and kill and murder and destroy for these suckers. Jim Jones people didn't run around killing people and destroying stuff and whatever. Well, at least not to the end of the story. But they basically murdered themselves. They decided to commit suicide. I'm a patriot, so I'm gonna get in a plane and drop bombs on people I don't even know. You don't even know what's going on. Just like the wildebeest. You in the back, you don't even know what's going on. These stupid animals in the front gonna try to cross a river that they clearly cannot make. But I'm gonna cross. You're gonna follow the leadership. Herd animal mentality. You see this in the church. You see this in the mosque. Especially wherever religion and spirituality is. You're always gonna follow the master spiritualist, whatever it is, into the river so you can drown. Here these wildebeest steady trying to cross the river, jumping over dead bodies to get in the river so they can drown themselves. That's the most dumbest, stupid, herd animals. Y'all a bunch of herd animals. And that's why you don't like me, because I'm not going to let you be a herd animal. Think for yourself. Deprogram your mind. Let the deprogramming begin. You are not a herd animal. A wildebeest don't know no better. They nothing but a wildebeest. You're supposed to know better. Well, I guess you don't. I would like to send this message to Caucasian people. I would like to send this message to people who call themselves white. White Europeans, Caucasian people, pink people. If you fall into these categories, then, or you have this background, I would like to send this message to you. I want to send you a message that perhaps you never thought about this before. Well, at least some of you are thinking about it now, that in the United States, Donald Trump has become the president-elect. And when some of you think about Donald Trump, even Caucasian pink people, you are thinking the worst will happen and your future does not look very bright. Well, actually, the beginning of your downfall does not start with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a result. Donald Trump is a consequence of something that happened 300 years ago or more. And what happened 300 or more years ago is that y'all white people, y'all Caucasian people, I prefer to say pink people. I don't know where you get white from. You are not white. White in the English language means pure, holy, kosher, clean, righteous. And you have never been that. So I refuse personally to call you white. You created race, Caucasian people, within your during your rise to power, you created race so you can separate the different people, so that you can justify your domination over them, and your white skin became supreme. Thus we have a label called white supremacy. And it's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because it feels good to be dominant and supreme over others, but it's a curse because you went to show your domination by the destruction, by the murder, by the rape, by the theft of other dark-skinned people. And this cannot go on without a consequence. And now you're living in an era of consequence. Those who live today must suffer the consequences of their fathers, whether you like it or not, because you have benefited from the evil that your fathers have done. You have made no effort to correct the wrong that your fathers produced, this evil and this wrong. You have done nothing but live off the proceeds of that activity. So it is only right that you be punished for the sins of your father. Now, slowly but surely, it's coming to an end, it's coming to a head. Whether or not you will survive the ultimate decision that is made by time is up to you. And if you are saying you are not like your fathers, then you need to take the appropriate actions to show that you are not like your fathers. But unfortunately, in this world, you have, not only are you like your fathers, but you have become worse because of your technology, your destruction, your murder, your vulgar, nasty behavior has increased 100-fold. And something must give. Your problem started, well, I want to say this. You are in for a rude awakening. Your forefathers, of whom you praise, put you in this predicament. They done it. Not the dark-skinned people. They are their victims. Your forefathers, whatever bad or whatever negative happens to you, it is not because of dark-skinned people. Dark-skinned people are the victims. Your forefathers put you on this path. You kept yourself on this path. And as long as everything is going in your favor, it's all right. But now, slowly but surely, it's all coming to an end. Everything must come to an end. Even your forefathers, I believe it was Thomas Jefferson was talking about, he dreads the time that God would not intervene. And sooner or later, this, this has to come to an end. I forgot exactly. It was on my mind. I forgot exactly how Thomas Jefferson, I believe it was Thomas Jefferson, phrased this. But your forefathers knew that this slavery thing was going to get their country in trouble. And it has. And now you must suffer the consequences of your forefathers. You will pay the punishment. You must suffer for the sins of your forefathers. Whether you like it or not, it makes no difference. The only way you can avoid this is to be not like your forefathers. But it says in your religious teachings, it talks about the interaction between this person called Jesus. Jesus was telling them to the fact that if you are of your father the devil, and the works of your father you shall do. You are of your father. Your forefathers are devils. Your forefathers were wicked. They were wrong in what they done, and they did not give a damn about you. They did not give a damn about you because they wanted to live, there's a word for it, but they wanted to live this life of leisure. And this life of leisure, wanting to live this life of leisure, has gotten you in deep doo-doo. Let's go back to this life of leisure. This is what the racists, they were racist. This is what the racist, Caucasian, pink, European, American forefathers, this is what they created. They created a life of leisure. They believe they deserve a life of leisure. They use their religion to justify a life of leisure. And that the dark-skinned people were created by God to serve them. This is their thinking. This is their thinking process. A life of leisure is unnatural. I want to say that again. A life of leisure is unnatural. You can find no example of no creature that lives a life of leisure. It is about work, 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 trying to survive. And when you cannot survive, when you cannot work, then it is time for you to die. And that's where your leisure comes in. But while you live, there is no life of leisure. This is where slavery comes in. Because in order to live, you must work, 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 work. Work to find water, work to find your food, work to have a roof over your head, work to raise your children, work, 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 work. But if I can find somebody else to do it, it makes it easier on me. And this is where slavery comes in. And this is when life becomes unnatural. You don't want to do your own work. Even right now, you claim to be such a hard worker, and you're not. You're not a hard worker. You still want to live this life of leisure and give people little or nothing for their labor so that you can live this life of leisure. In fact, the new appointee, Donald Trump, just appointed a guy that is the CEO of Hardee's restaurants or whatever. He talks about he's a proponent to not raising the minimum wage. Life of leisure. It's all right for him to live a life of leisure. But those who actually make the hamburgers, those who actually cook the food, those who are the actual labor that causes the wealth that makes him so he can live a life of leisure, to hell with you. A form of slavery. A job is never created to make you where you can live a life of leisure. It is a form of slavery so that somebody else and their family can live this unnatural life of leisure. And whenever you have a person or a people who live this life of leisure, then they produce children who don't want to work, that don't do nothing, and they become spoiled. Then you have a knockoff from people who work, and they give their children a life of leisure because they don't expect nothing from their children as they grow old, and they spoil them. Then you have what we call spoiled brats. And that's how Caucasian people are right now. You have the mentality of a spoiled brat. A spoiled brat. I got to have it my way. It's my way or the highway. That's the mentality of the United States and all European countries. Wherever you find Caucasian people, because you lived this life of leisure, you had slavery for hundreds and hundreds of years, you never really had to do no work. And then when you don't have any slaves, now you create machines to do your labor and your work. This life of leisure, you have become spoiled brats. And that's not good. Now, of course, this is not all Caucasian people. I'm not saying that, but it's a big majority. Because if it was a minority, we wouldn't be having this talk. It wouldn't mean anything. Whew. Well, excuse me. Things happen. I apologize for the cutoff. I am having certain work done in the building that I reside, and they did not know when they would show up. It just so happened that the maintenance people shown up, of course, when I am attempting to make a video. But that's life. Things happen. And we're going to seek to continue to move on with our conversation. Some of you have already left. You don't like what I have to say. That's good. But I will continue whether you like it or not. Y'all can't handle the truth. Accept reality, my friend. It's much easier. Believe me. I would rather a woman tell me, look, I don't want nothing to do with you. You might be cool as a friend, but I'm just not into you like that. I would rather have my feelings hurt and hear the truth than talk to a woman and she's trying to be nice, and I believe she's leading me on, and I think there might be a chance for romance, and really there's no chance at all. And that's where we stand. We don't want to hear the truth. We don't want to hear, we don't want to accept reality, because reality hurts. Truth hurts. But in the end, it's better for us. Have a little hurt now, but you have a much better and honest, sincere, long-lasting life in the long run. That's the way you have to look at it. But see, of course, we must also remember that there are many people out here who benefit from lies, who benefit from deceit. They benefit from all of this. They don't want to change nothing. They are happy. They are happy because they are able to live the unnatural life of leisure. They love to create more spoiled brats like them. The forefathers of this nation has spoiled the Caucasian people of America. In fact, the whole so-called race, Caucasian race, has become spoiled because of this unnatural condition they put themselves in, trying to live a life of leisure. Mind you, I'm going to try to remember where I left off because I'm not really sure where I left off. But I did say, and I think I was going to talk about real quick, there's always exceptions to the rule. I would not be honest to say that all Caucasian people fit into this category. There are many who rejected slavery. There are many who have pride in themselves and want to show what you can do by hard work. Very few, unfortunately very few, but there are those who are like that. And don't tell me that those people don't exist and y'all being silly. You want to be just like the people you complain about. A bunch of liars, because that would be a lie. For example, now I would tell you this. You have a person like Elvis Presley. Now, Elvis Presley grew up in the hood. He grew up among black folks. And living among black people, he basically became a Caucasian, but he was like the black people he was around. He loved gospel music. He liked the soul food. He liked everything about black folks because that's who he was raised around. He was rejected by his own, period. He was nothing but, as they say, poor white trash in Tupelo, Mississippi. His family was unable to be with the white folks. They did not look up at the Presley family. Poor white trash. Now, of course, as you know, Elvis was able to access certain connections, and he had a certain talent for singing, and he came up out of Tupelo. And I know a lot of black folks still, they call Elvis a racist and all this kind of thing and whatever. But there's a lot of evidence that shows that Elvis was very kind to black folks. Many black people bought Elvis Presley records. I'm not ashamed. I am an Elvis Presley fan. I don't give a care what these pro-black African powered folks talk about. I was raised on Elvis Presley music. I like Elvis Presley music. And Elvis is not the creator of music. He's just someone that performs music. And I could say this also, that Elvis, you can say that he was the king of rock and roll. Kings come and go. I don't know why people have a problem with saying that Elvis was the king of rock and roll. Kings come and go. So he was a king at that time. Somebody else took his place. Matter of fact, later on, Michael Jackson is called the king of pop, rock, and soul. Rock and roll, pop, and soul. So kings come and go. Little Richard would say, I'm the king of rock and roll. You did not sell the records. You do not have the popularity that Elvis gotten. He became the king. However, we give Little Richard his credit because Little Richard, and he would say himself that he was the originator of rock and roll. Now, I don't know which title is the best. Some want to say the king of rock and roll. Yeah, but the king of rock and roll did not originate rock and roll. Little Richard is the originator, the creator. The only thing Elvis done was take what somebody else created and just expanded on it. But he did not create anything. He did not create the gospel music he sung. He did not create the rock and roll he sung. He was just someone that expanded upon it and practiced the art of rock and roll. Little Richard is the originator. And I don't know why we be tripping off who did what. But see, that's what happened when we get caught up in racism. White people made YouTube. The black folks did this. Oh, whenever it's all said and done, all human beings have access to the technology, to the information, and all benefit. Who cares who originated from? But when you get caught up in this racial supremacy garbage, then it means something. It don't mean nothing to me. Nothing at all. But I just wanted to use Elvis Presley because Elvis Presley was considered poor white trash, worked hard, sacrificed, did what they had to do, and he rose from that to have success in the music business. There are many Caucasian people, even in this nation. You cannot connect them directly or indirectly. Well, actually indirectly, because see, just by the fact that you live in this country, everybody indirectly benefit from what slavery, the wealth slavery created. This is the reason why this is the reason why they were able to purchase all that land, the Louisiana Purchase from France and all this. So anybody, I mean, see, why did the forefathers put you in this messed up position? And you have become spoiled brats. And we know how spoiled brats do. Spoiled brats, whatever baby want, baby get. That's the type of attitude. And this is the kind of attitude Caucasian people have. So North Korea said, I'm not going to do that. They get all mad and your mouth you poke out your lips. You got to do what I say. You get angry at Iran. You get angry at anybody who refuses to do what you say because you're a bunch of spoiled brats. It's your way or no way. And anybody that has dealt with a spoiled brat knows the only thing you have to do is take that spoiled brat and put it over your knee and give it a good ass whooping and show you don't run nothing. And that's exactly what is getting ready to happen to the great, mighty United States of America. You're getting ready to get to the point where you have done all this dirt and wickedness to other people, and now it's time that you have earned an ass whooping. That's just the bottom line. However, you have enough time, and you might have enough time to stop that if you correct what has happened, of which you're not making no attempt. You're trying to justify living an unnatural lifestyle. Spoiled. Another sign that you're spoiled is that you eat a banana and an orange all the time. You can go to your local grocery store and you get a banana and an orange and grapes and all this kind of stuff all the time. That's not natural. That's not natural. You only supposed to consume what is readily available in your area. This goes for elephants. This goes for hyenas. This goes for zebras. No animal consumes what is outside of its natural location. When I was a little boy, growing up in the South, and I am a child of the early 60s, but even in the early 60s, we were still using kerosene heaters and lamps, still burning coal. We did not have electricity. A lot of times we did not have plumbing in the house. You had to go out into the community well and bring your water, get your buckets, whatever, get your water, bring it from the community well and so forth and so forth. We had to work to survive. That's what nature's about. You have to work to survive, work to eat, work to drink. It's all about work. Nobody's bringing this to us. You have to work. That's natural life. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how it has been for eons on this planet. Everything has to work to survive in order to live. A life of leisure is unnatural. So when we had, the only time I really saw a banana or orange or things like that, it was a special treat, Thanksgiving and Christmas, you know, holidays or whatever. Those things were not readily available. And you know, when you work hard for everything that you get and you don't have access to everything, because you should not have access to everything, only that which is within your location, these having a banana or orange is considered a treat. And you see this in nature sometimes. Animals doing their thing, but all of a sudden they run into a food source that they normally don't have, and it becomes a treat. It's not an all the time thing. It's a treat that you enjoy and until it's gone, and it's right back to normal. But now you live an unnatural life, and we are spoiled brats. And we take an orange and an apple and a grapes and all these different foods from all over the world that we get. We go into these grocery stores and there it is every day. But you want to know something? See, but there's a price you have to pay for living the life of leisure. There's a price that you pay. You and I have become adults, and we are acting and have become spoiled brats. You are spoiled. We are spoiled. You don't have to walk nowhere no more. You get in your car and you drive. Don't even walk no more. Don't even like to walk because you drive. You don't even want to ride a bike that you got to pedal. I'll drive. You spoiled brats. We become spoiled brats. Every animal can only consume, again, what is within their geographical location, within the diameter of where they live. So if you are a horse and there are no apple trees, how can a horse ever eat an apple? But you have people feeding horses apples every day. Spoiled. So not only have you spoiled yourself, but you spoil your dogs and your cats and your chickens and all these animals that you raise, your pets, giving them things they normally would never, ever have. And we think that all this is beautiful. You're supposed to have a variety in your diet and all like that. You know, there's an animal called the koala bear. And I believe that animal only eats eucalyptus leaves. That's all. And the leaves of the eucalyptus, I'm sorry, I get tongue-tied on certain words. But these leaves have very low nutritional value. So these animals just have to eat these leaves all day long and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But that's all they eat. What was that other animal? The panda bear? The only thing they eat is bamboo all the time. There is no great variety. And these animals live well and they do just fine until people mess with them. And that's all that they eat. Most animals eat the same stuff all the time. That's what makes them up. When they go outside of that, it becomes unnatural. And when you begin to eat outside of your nature, an unnatural diet, then next thing you know, you are filled with all kinds of diseases, all kinds of cancers. And that is what you see within everybody who practices the Western European Caucasian pink lifestyle, filled with all kinds of unknown diseases and numerous ailments and all kinds, because you are living an unnatural lifestyle, because you have become spoiled brats and you want everything. That's how it is. When you're dealing with a spoiled brat, anything a spoiled brat see, they want. And they might not want it. Just because you want it, now all of a sudden, they want it. Ain't that some stuff? But anybody who is familiar with spoiled brats, that's the attitude, that's the mentality of spoiled brats. And all this happens due to fossil fuels. Fossil fuels and the ability to harness electric energy make it so that you can grab bananas that grow 3,000 miles away and bring them over here so that you can eat them. Otherwise, you would never, very rarely, have a banana. Orange is 2,000 miles away in California. But now you can get a truck. A truck can bring some oranges, can bring oranges 2,000 miles in 2 or 3 days or less. We have become spoiled. And there is a consequence that you have to pay. Because when you do this, when you go outside of that geographical location, at one time, every state in America could be independent from the federal, the United States itself, if it wanted to be. Every state in the union of this nation should be able to be independent. But because now y'all is spoiled, yeah, you're spoiled, but now you have become spoiled. And now that's, okay, I think it flipped over. Welcome to my conclusion, part 3. And the topic that we have chosen is white people have become spoiled brats. All right, let me get comfortable. Let us get through this. I'm not trying to bore you. I'm trying to bring us something that's real, because you're going to have to change your behaviors. If you don't, you and I and everybody involved in this system, you are in for a very, very, very rude awakening. And it's not going to be pretty. Fossil fuels make you able so that you can create machines to continue to feed your life of leisure. And a life of leisure leads to obesity. A life of leisure leads to producing more children than you need, than you should have. So now all over the world, because you can take food here and water there, and you can drive your car here and get around or whatever, this unnatural life, it has caused and created a circumstance that sooner or later you're going to have to pay for, because it's unnatural. It's got to come to a head. This life cannot be sustained in the natural world. It's unnatural. So here we are. You have electricity in your house. You know, you want air conditioning, heating. You live in the beauty. No other animal on this planet living like the modern human being. And you think that's good. It's called civilization. Civilization that is only maintained because in order to maintain civilization, something must die. Something must be destroyed. So you tear down hundreds and hundreds of trees. You try to get all the oil out the earth that you can and burn it. And you put all the smoke and poison into the atmosphere. Oh, wow. For a life of leisure, you are committing suicide. You are actually killing yourself, and you're doing it with a smile. And just like the forefathers, you don't give a damn about the future generations as your life of leisure, burning fossil fuels every day, putting all these poisons and toxins in the air. You're making it worse. The air quality is becoming worse for the babies that come after you, and you don't give a damn, just like the forefathers didn't give a damn about what would happen to their Caucasian children because of slavery. And you have the same attitude. Can't you see that you have become sick? And some of you that can't really experience the life of leisure, you can't wait to go on vacation and relax. Oh, you know something? Well, really, you deserve it. But there are a lot of people every day working for little or nothing. They never get a vacation. But because you live in an environment of leisure, you can work, and then you get tired, and you get in your recreational vehicle, and you get in your cars, and you run around and waste fuel and waste resources because you really didn't have to put in that much work anyway. And like I say, you spoil your pets. You got dogs. You have restaurants just for dogs. The dog don't have to go out and catch nothing for it on his own. Or whatever. The dog can go to a restaurant and order a hamburger. The dog has air conditioning and heating. You take the dogs and your cats to get massage. Oh, wow, this is all life of leisure. But again, you're in for a very rude awakening, because this type of lifestyle is unnatural and you cannot sustain it, because that which sustains it is temporary. It could last 10 years, it could last 20, 200 years, but eventually it's going to come to an end. It cannot sustain itself because what causes it to be in being is not renewable. Gas is not renewable. Once it's gone, it's gone. Once the electricity is gone, it's gone. All these things is not renewable. They are not, it's not biodegradable. It cannot really go back into the earth and then the earth give you something back that you can sustain your life. That's not how it works. And many of you believe that you can just have babies, all the babies you want, and it's all right. The earth can handle it. It's a lot of room on the earth for people. But you got to eat. You have to have room to grow food. You have to have room for people to be able to live life. You can't just keep having babies and you're in for a very rude awakening. They did an experiment with rats. You put rats in a certain amount of space, and when each rat has enough room so it can breathe and do its thing, everything is all right. But when you put rats, and people are no different. People are no different. But when you put rats and they begin to populate and nobody has no space, and the food resources is low because the food source can only feed a certain amount of the rats. So now they fighting over the food, they fighting over space. This is what you see in human beings right now. So now you have people saying, well, because they don't want to stop doing what they're doing. I think we should kill all the blacks. If we kill all the black folks, that'll make more room for us white folks. And then, of course, you have the silly Negroes. Black Power family, they say the same thing. If you kill the white man, that'll give us room. When it's all said and done, this life of leisure, this lifestyle is not sustainable. It's temporary. It's not biodegradable. Sooner or later, something has got to give. Whether the planet is nothing but Caucasian people, or whether the planet is nothing but the Chinese, they got a head start. They have a billion folks in China. Whether they are Africans, it makes no difference. In nature, a location, a spot can only handle a certain amount of life. In the animal kingdom, a lot of times you will see in birds and other animals, when they determine there's not enough food, they stop laying. They might stop laying eggs, or might not have babies at all, and wait till next year. And then when next year roll around and there's plenty of food, then they produce their babies. Why are people so stupid? Because we have become unnatural. We live this life of leisure, and we have become an unnatural life form. And whenever something unnatural appears within natural life, that becomes a cancer. Just like in your body when you have cancer. When you have cancer in your body, you have cells in your body that has become a rebel. And they are taking resources that do not benefit the whole of the body. Only for that particular group of cells. And it begins to kill the whole body. And that's what we're looking at right now. You're looking at the death of a whole body. Either you cut the cancer out, or you will die. So we're looking at a situation where you have a cancer and it must be cut out, or the whole body dies. The spoiled brats. I am talking to the Caucasian, European, white people, whatever you want to call yourself. I'm talking to you because right now you are the people that's in control. It is your leadership that continues to guide you to hell, that keeps making the wrong decisions because they want to live this unnatural life of leisure because it's civilized. If you notice, among the savages, you don't have homeless people. You don't hear about rape and murders and drive-bys and alcoholism, homosexuality, and all this other stuff that we find in civilized society. Because civilized society is nothing but a cancer. Civilized society is nothing but arrogance. You think that you're better because you can drive a horse. You can drive a car. But if you really put them side by side, sooner or later, you're not going to have that car. Unless you can find biodegradable, renewable energy source for that car. Otherwise, the horse, when it's all said and done, the horse, that car, will be buried under mud, and the horses will still be trotting and walking on top of it. On top of you and your car, when it's all said and done. Do you understand? So it's important for you. Your leaders continue to lead you in the wrong direction, just like your forefathers started it off hundreds of years ago. And if you wish to continue to survive, if you wish not to become extinct, because many of you just kill the Negroes, kill the darkies off. Well, I don't think that's possible. I don't think you want to try that, because if it was possible, if you really want, you should have done it a long time ago. It's not feasible. So, and then you're always going to put people in this underclass, and they are going to rebel. So, because you're living this life of leisure, you don't want to do the actual work. Who are you going to exploit to do the work? And whoever is the one that is being exploited, it's not natural to be a slave. It's not natural. So whomever it is, whether it's dark-skinned people or even other Caucasian people, of which you have enslaved your own people, indentured service and actual slaves, they are going to rebel, because it's not natural for nobody to be a slave. There is nothing in nature where a creature will work for the benefit of another creature outside of itself. That's unnatural. Slavery is unnatural. Indentured servitude is unnatural. We all should have the right to have a little piece of property where we can do our own thing, where we can take care of ourselves. But in this unnatural world, if you don't play the game, then you end up homeless. You can't eat if you don't play this sick, unnatural, slave-making game. The religion is slave-making. Having a job is slave-making. Everything about this society is unnatural. You should want to get rid of it. You should find no pride in this sick way of lifestyle. But many of us believe this is just how life is. It's not. Because this is all that we know. But now that you know, and you know it's screwed up, now you know that you need to change it. Maybe perhaps you need to take a lesson from the savages. I don't know what true civilization really is, but if civilization means the destruction of this planet, the murder of life, animal life, the trees, the destruction of this planet, I don't want anything to do with civilization. I would rather be a savage, because the savages understood that if this planet does well, I do well. But when this planet becomes sick, and I am the reason that it becomes sick, then there's nothing left except to wait for death. And you must understand, and we must understand, I don't care how arrogant you are, the earth does not need you. If you are stupid enough to cause yourself to go into extinction, the only thing the earth, if it had a mind, the only thing it would say is, good riddance to bad rubbish. The elephants would clap, all the birds would clap, the seals would clap, the elephants, the polar bear, all the animals would clap to see these stupid, dumb human beings go into extinction. And I would clap. I'm a human being, and I would clap that it's over. These stupid idiots, including myself, we get out the way. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. So since you are no good on top of the ground, maybe you do better under the ground, and you will be good fertilizer for some plants, and then some elephants and some monkeys and whatever. They can have a nice treat, with some bananas or something that your fertilizer provided. They're not going to trip off the fertilizer because it came from some dead, stupid human being. So with that said, I just want to put that out so you can think about it. We need to think about this. Accept reality, my friend. It's much easier. You can deny it and whatever. It don't make any difference. You can get drunk and get high and watch all the porn you want to, but when it's all said and done, you're going to have to deal with it. Your children are going to have to deal with it. Makes no difference. So if you are wise, if you are as civilized as you claim you are, then you see that you have a problem. You need to do something about it. If you have to remove all these your stupid leaders and get them out the way, then you need to do that. Because they are putting your life and your children and your progeny, the life of your progeny, they're putting their lives in danger. In fact, there may not be a life for them. You understand? It's not about hating anybody, disliking anyone. Just let us deal with the problem. Deal with the problem in an open, honest manner. And if you do that, I guarantee you, we'll have better results. Until next time, y'all, just accept reality. It's much easier. I am that mighty one, Angel Snub 7. Peace out.